is idiot. The people are completely idiot. When imagine to have Europe unified today would be like incredible. What I mean, as you say, like in New York, what the but I got a chance, like, because my aunt was working with Andy Warhol, and in '80s, Andy, proposed me like to join the factory.
Alexandre, and we know that at one point of your life you worked with a lot of famous people, including Melania Trump.
Melania, but she was just like, linked, like, came like that in Milan, and she and the people in Metropolitan, they say, oh, we have this girl who just arrived from Milan, and it was Melania. I say, but I saw her like in Milan. I remember, her face. President Emmanuel and Brigitte, they love, this kind of restaurant. But it was exactly where I was talking with Fidel,
And what side Fidel Castro has chosen during your conversation?
It was we were arguing, side by side about history and everything, because he was an intellectual. I don't know if you know that, but he was he knew history. Okay.
Of course, he was very intellectually powerful, one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. Yeah. Definitely, there is no doubt.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks now.
Hello and welcome to the podcast Dynamic Spectrum Talks. I'm Anna Shafran and this is my colleague Yuri Lindra.
Greetings, everyone.
Our podcast is a construction site for free and open discussion of hot topics with interesting people from all over the world. And our aim is to build bridges between peoples and nations and reopen and rediscover each other. So we try to break down current artificial dividing lines.
And today we have a very special and I would say a unique guest video call from Paris. Alexandre de Basseville is a renowned photographer and artist and a painter. Hello, Alexandre. Comment ça va? Comment allez-vous?
Thank you so much. It's and first it's like Alexandre Ale de Basseville. It's my nickname as an artist. It's what everybody called me from day one.
Perfect. Yeah. Alexandre, first of all, usually we ask our guests about their unique life story. And of course, we expect something interesting from your side today. First of all, how did you get into the photography and why this profession? And how a guy from the other side of the camera, like you are, became so famous?
First, I become famous as with the painting. That's what the people. The people know me as an artist painter. But of course, the painting is not like it's not so easy for the people. But I got a chance, because my aunt was working with Andy Warhol. And in '80s, Andy, proposed me like to join the factory, and I'm sure, I don't know if the people the people were listening us, right now, they know the factory and everything, but at least, they know the factory. So it was with Keith Haring, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Mapplethorpe, like different, some artists and everything. I was the youngest one. And it was kind of like, crazy, we were like, in the Union Square, we were passing all the night in Studio 54 and everything. It was kind of like a crazy world, we were all revolutionary, we were like thinking we will change the world, And I was painting, in Union Square, in the factory, and I become really famous because one of the biggest agents who was representing Andy, started, to represent me as well. And his right arm was like Richard Picasso, was a grandson of Picasso. Was also everybody was like kind of like really famous at this time and everything. and I become famous when I was 15, and I start like to make, museum and everything when I was 17. Everything was like kind of insane today to say that, because I didn't really realize, and because I was also like I have double genetic disease, I was like taking my medication with alcohol and everything. So imagine, it was a kind of like nightmare. And Andy decided to give me like a photo camera, and imagine the photo camera is not like the photo camera you can have today. And he was the Hasselblad 6.7, Pentax 6.7, and he said like, okay, make the photos and everything. So I was making photo of everything, basically because I like, to be on the back of the everything, and I was making photos, videos, I mean, filming and everything. And basically I make a lot of photos of the factory and filming a lot of people and things. Was like, today what you can see of the factory is like made by me, it's like the people when they don't know about it, but I don't care because it's not, the problems, of that, and I start like that, and I start to become like really famous on a photo too, and a lot of people after, ask me like, okay, can you do this kind of photos and everything? And me, I was like just like playing with these people, and I was like, okay, it's well paid, and they were like, oh yeah, yeah, of course, cool, we pay you. So, it's like, because in the 80s we were like always playing with the people who are rich and everything. I mean, what's really funny today, I mean, the rich people are, playing, like we're the one, but the 80s and 90s we were like playing with the game, and it was not like, as it is today, and the creative as we were like, we were like playing with the game. It was really funny, it was really funny. So I become famous as a painter. Became famous with a photographer, and because I was designing, and I created in '91 the first studio of creativity in New York. Everybody, came to me and say, we want, the furniture design, we want, a fashion design, we want this car, we want that. We become like the first creative design in the world. And we got every client in the world, Of course, I was there in the Hollywood of Berlin, I mean, and that was like also like some very incredible story that, everybody's like couldn't believe, because we 3 weeks before the following of Berlin, we were there, with all the team and everything, and everybody laughed about the story because, we were such a kids and crazy,
Alexander, and we know that at one point of your life you worked with a lot of famous people, including Melania Trump, the current First Lady of the United States. But she's far from the only celebrity you've worked with. What other famous models have you met, and what interesting things can you tell us about them, and what makes them so special?
You see, it's really interesting question, by the way, what you're asking. In fact, the molding system starts because some guys, as John Casablanca, Thomas Demer from Metropolitan, they decide to build the molding system in the time of when the acting, singer, and everything were not responding. They were not responding anymore, because as the young generation, they always need to follow, a lead, and to believe and to trust, and to follow, like some talent, like Marlon Brando, Sophia Loren, but these people were not existing anymore, So in fact, they've been creating some fake, ideas or image, and they got the idea to create, from the molding system, this image, So of course, they were totally fake, because they have nothing to sell. There were not movies, there was not singing, there were not, nothing to sell as, a product, as a on this kind of topics. So they create with the molding, like, yeah, a fake concept and everything. Of course, all the branding at this time, they completely bought, the system, because for them it was more easy to use this kind of, like, ideas of girls who are completely free to, to buy, this system market and everything. And it was totally a market system where, and I'm sure you remember, it was like the 90s girls, and it was doing, I would say, doing 6-7 years, not more than that, with, of course, the famous, girls that you remember, Cindy Crawford, Claire Schaefer, Stephanie Seymour, Christy Turlington, and so on. And so, of course, I get married with one of them. I made a mistake, of course. But some of them, they were like really interesting. And thing. One of them was Emma Eriksson, was the top model of Cherry Mugler. And she was from Sweden. She was incredible, really nice girl. She was a friend. And one of the magazines asked me to make a photo shoot with her. And it was like, and because, okay, I was coming from the painting, and I was still making a lot of painting as well. And I've been like in Roma, in Firenze, in Milan, and I came from the Roma Institute. My base is a Renaissance. It's like, all my base of institution, everything is Renaissance. So I've always been like, a Caravaggio, like vision. And they calling me that, in Italy, So, I wanted, to create, like, an ideas of image and everything in photos. So I was looking for someone who were like, fitting with Emma, who were like an opposite of Emma. You see, like, linking but opposite. You know what I mean? Like, and I see this girl in Milan who just arrived from Moscow, was Melania, but she was just like, linked, like, came like that in Milan, and she and the people in Metropolitan, they say, oh, we have this girl who just arrived from Milan, and it was Melania. I say, but I saw her like in Milan. I remember, her face. And I was like, oh, she can be good, for the story with Emma. And I started to talk to her in the agency, who was in Union Square, like, up of the coffee shop, and she's like, oh, I'm from Slovenia. I'm like, I know Slovenia. And she was look at me like, what? Someone knows Slovenia, like in America, like, wow, the Balkan, Slovenia, and we started to talk and laugh and everything, because no one in America Europe, East Europe and Balkan and Slovenia and everything. So we start to laugh. And I was like telling her, like, yeah, my mom is she's from half Bayern, German Bayern and Croatia, and she was like laughing and everything, and we start like to laugh like that. And I say, okay, I want to make this photo shoot and everything. She's like, oh, I'm really interesting, So, and of course she has 3 photos in the book, because she was really starting from scratch, And I'm like, yeah, I'm really interesting to work with you. So we decided to work together, but she has, something really interesting, like she has something to say, to talk and everything, and to share, and it's what you can see today, also, like, because she follow up, like, a way, and you don't build like, your own way like that, and of course he came, to the studio. Was like uh, the creative studio I'm talking about, like Studio A was the first creative studio in New York, and it was famous, So for the people who were coming there, it was really, something, for everybody was to come there. It was like big time, like because we had 3 floor and rooftop. It was, and for young people and everything to go there, it was like, wow, I'm getting, to this place, and it was, it's large place and everything. It's 26 and 6, I mean, I don't know if you know New York, but, it's a really great place, like, so she arrived, you have makeup, you have hairdresser, you have these, you have stylists and everything. You have, wow, it's like, and people like in New York, they're like, a little bit exciting, like, oh, girly, come in, like, you know, and like there's the fashion in the 90s, they're a little bit like exciting all the time, So yeah, and right away there is a connection between us, and we made the photos together and everything. After Emma arrived, she also like making that, and we started, to make. And I asked her them like to make a photo on the rooftop when it was like super cold in New York, because in the winter time it's cold, it's windy. I mean, and it's a little bit like in Moscow, like in New York when it's a winter and windy, like in December, cold, windy, it's a tough, like things like to be like in minus, I don't know, 5, but the windy, was like really cut you, you're cold, and as asked them like to be on the rooftop, you imagine like it was like almost I don't know 10 or 11 o'clock in the night, something like that p.m. So and they play that you don't see anything, like like because I like to have a movie scene, because I'm a director, on the photos. And I'm tough, I'm not like easy guy, I'm really like because I have this photo in my brain, I want. So
At the end, she has survived.
yeah, no, for real, I mean, honestly, I'm really tough, I mean, everybody who've been working with me, they will tell you, like, even my wife, she worked with me, and she can tell you, like, wow, work with him is a tough thing, I have in my life. Until you don't have his photo, he's gonna tell you, like, no, again, one more, no, and he can be minus 10. He's gonna make you again and again and again and again, and you have this constant 4 kilos, big time, like like that, and you have the two, and you have the assistant there like that, they were like, I remember, on my app, they were like, and I was like, makeup, like, because you have the makeup, you have your retouch and everything, and they're like, I'm no, I know, and we making a, and we pass almost 2 hours like that in a rooftop, and the two girls, they don't move.
For
They
how long?
make
12 hours, you said?
No, during 2 hours.
2 hours. Sorry, I was thinking
2
12
hours
hours.
is
2 hours is also
2
enough.
hours in the cold, windy. I mean, when when you are in the red place, in the red place in Moscow, and you have the wind, like would cut, your face, I don't know if you've been like, in the December like that, because I was I love to go like in Moscow, like when it's in the place like that, where it's like, in the bridge and everything, but you have the wind, like, it's beautiful, but it's like you feel like the wind is like, it's like cutting you. It's like it was a knife, and it's a little bit like that in New York, and mostly in the roof, and but and if you see the picture, they're like, with just like the this incredible outfit, that I have, like from Dior and Mugler, it's beautiful, gorgeous, and so, and you don't see anything on the face, because they need to act and everything. So.
But you continue to cooperate and to work together after this, let's say, 2-hour experience on the wind during the winter time.
No, because normally I make one photo shoot with you, and but the thing is, like, after the shoot and everything, Emma, had a plane to go back to Europe because she has a photo shoot, or I don't remember, like maybe something, like, she has, to come back to Mugler right away. And and after, we decide, Melania and myself, we decide, like, to go to first we decided to take a drink, like, and to go to one of my friend nightclub in Soho, was really close, to my studio. And we started to talk and everything, like, and that's where, like, we start to talk about our life, like, our life, my life, and to exchange and sharing, and we were laughing, and one of my friend came, and that's, we start, like, to talk, and she talked about her sister. That's, after, I met her sister Ines, really nice girl, super nice girl and everything. Yeah, and I mean, she opened, like, a door that maybe I don't think, she opened, like, a lot, with people, like, I didn't see her, like, opening, this door with people, basically, but she started to open the door,
Now it's time to return to the modern reality. Our editorial team has seen pictures of you with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife, Brigitte. Can you tell us when and how they were taken? And do you know each other? And what do you think of him as a politician?
First, in fact, we have a common friend who has a restaurant. In the street I live, in Paris, because we came back with my wife and my son not so long ago in Paris. Really, like, to be honest with you, like, 2 years ago, we decided, to come back in Paris, also with the Brexit, with a lot of things happening and everything. And we have this common friend who has this really nice restaurant, like, and in fact, the President Emmanuel and Brigitte, they love, this kind of restaurant. It's a really tiny restaurant, it's not like, it's not the fancy or trendy or like, something like, want, like, showing you or something, like, it's really, relaxing, cool, and everything. It's not a blah blah blah, and the people who take who have this restaurant, they're, like, really nice people, super nice people. They're making, like, they make you comfortable as family. You see what I mean? Like, it was with like a really lovely food, and they come every week and everything. We start, to talk about, like, art, because it means I'm doing art, I'm not doing politics. And honestly, I don't care about politics, I mean, it's not, I'm not interesting about politics, okay? I was interesting about politics, but real politics, I mean, I've been I've been learning about politics and everything, a real politics, and I've been of course, I read all, and by the way, I love, the Russian literature, who was like for me one of the top literature in the world, and Gogol, is one of my favorite, of course, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, of course,
And what about Alexander Pushkin?
You talk about the legend, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? Pushkin is like, on the top of the, it's like, is iconic, but, yeah, it's like, but, even, you have to understand, like, even Das Kapital, Karl Marx, I've been reading it 4 times, and it's 10,000 page. Because, and when I was with Fidel Castro, many times, I've been arguing with him, like, daily and everything. And he liked it, a lot. His brother was look at me like they're going to fight. But it was an artistic way, it was not in a politic way, and he loved it, because we were arguing, in an intellectual way, So I'm an artist, I don't fight, in a political way. I'm fighting in an artistic way, in an intellectual way, in more like in a in a spiritual way, that I hope, for the people the best, and not like this kind of like stupidity or whatever, like I can listen or hearing, from the stupid idiot people who gonna talk. So yeah, when I talked to Emmanuel Macron, I told him exactly. He was like, because I came back and I say like, yeah, and Brigitte was like really nice also with me, and I say, yeah, I need so and so, for my work, and they were like, okay, we're gonna help you. I say, okay, if you say that you're gonna help me, be careful, because there is my agent here, there was my wife and everything, and word for me, a word, a word. Be careful, because for me a word is a word. Be careful. Yeah, yeah, okay. And they've been putting me in contact with so and so, and okay, the guy was a moron, and after that, I talk, with my agent and everything, and he's like, yeah, I'm talking to the guy, and these people, like, they are like, just people working for the system, for the establishment, and it's exactly what Trump, is like talking about, the people who are working for establishment, they're just working for establishment, and it's like exactly what they've been, working and living on for years and years and years, and that's been like, in the 80s and 90s, we were like, fighting against, this problem, but now the problem is like with the computers and everything, we don't see the people, because they're in the back of the computer, and that's all around the world. That's all around the world. That's why you have Millet and everything. And it's not about, if you're left, right, or whatever. The problem is the people in the street, they're fighting these people on the back of the computer who don't care. They don't care. And you're like on the back of your computer trying to, to put, your name on the stupid, file, and the file go back and say, no, the file is not complete. No, the file is not complete. The file is not complete. It's stupid, and most of the people, they're like, I've been rejecting. And this is worldwide. And people are tired, and it's worldwide. And it's not, about, this guy or this guy, and what I just find out with Emmanuel Macron, is like he realized that he need to move and change the people. He need to move them, and say, guys, you have to take care of that. And that was, his answer. And I don't know. I don't know after, if he's doing it. I mean, I felt he's doing it. Okay. I felt, that he want to move them. I think it's really difficult to move an establishment, a total establishment. I think it's difficult for everyone in the world to move. I think it's difficult for Trump. I think it's difficult for Macron. I think it's difficult for Putin. I think it's difficult for everyone because it's like the 20th century that you have to move to 21st century. So it's really complicated. And I'm just an artist who will give you like a position. Okay. So it's really difficult. And I remember this day of the 31 December 1999. I remember this day, when we changed to the virtual on the first January 2000. Some people say it's going to be really complicated. Yeah, because we changed from one system to another system. And I think the change is still on. So that's my answer.
So we understood from what you have just said that the transition from the 20th century to the 21st century is complicated and is not as smooth as we wanted. But I suggest you to go back a little bit because while browsing your personal website, we've noticed and found out very interesting information. It was written there that your ancestors descended from the Norwegian kings. Could you tell us a little bit more about your family tree? So is it true? How did you discover the connection of your ancestors and with the royal Norwegian family?
In fact, we're the oldest European family. And I didn't do this research and lineage and everything. It's like because I grew up with the people around, part of the Vatican and mostly the Jesuits. They deal with the Cistercian monks, who are the first genealogists in the world. All the research around the family, this incredible tree, were back up, to the Arjad family, who was like, the mom of the Alexander the Great. So you see, it's back up, to really, and even link, to Anne de Kef, who was like, all the system of Europe, So it's like the large, like tree and everything. And in fact, it was one family who has been like, it's one family during 2,000 years who have been like, more than 2,000 years who have been like getting power, over all Europe and more. The First Empire, and deciding for everything, and got married between each other. That's why you have this double genetic disease, and that's why I have this double genetic disease, and this double genetic disease is really complicated. It's epilepsy pharmacoresistant oncovertomatosis. It's in the brain, of course. And that's why also the genetic can bring back to so-and-so and bring, to so long, so far, in the genetic, And because during years and years and years until me, they've been married to each other. It was like completely insane, One family has been. So in fact, they're splitting between each other, saying like, they are like a couple of different families, but they were not different family. It was only one family married to each other all the time. It was like completely insane. From Alexander the Great to myself. It was like completely insane. And that's the Vatican who made the tree. And when we see the tree, and when I saw the tree, I couldn't believe it. It was really, It was really a shock for me, to be honest. So from Balkan to the East Europe, to the Persia, to the India, it was incredible, as they've been managing the world. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe it's a reject for myself also about politics and countries and power and so on. Yeah.
There is a theory that in the past, the royal families and the families of nobility, they were focused to marry each other all the time because they wanted to keep the wealth within their families in order not to spread it, to a larger scale. And this is why it also created a lot of troubles, because close relations between families all the time reproduce and multiply, as you rightly said, genetical diseases. So it was a problem of the past. Hopefully, we have switched to another page of the book, and now we know this is not very good.
I think it's worse than that. I think it's worse because inside the family, when I've been working with some writers, historian writers and everything, I really met, incredible historian writers, and they, in my family, they've been killing each other.
Alexandre, please, philosophic question. What do you think, to your mind, who is a man of the 21st century?
I don't think a politician. I don't think that people are interesting about politician, and never been. If you refer to the, you see, like I'm always referring to the 16th century or the Renaissance, and to Caravaggio, who's like for me like a master. It's really interesting because for the people like you see like Caravaggio, Michelangelo, Raphael, Vinci, who knows today the three families who were leading, the world was the Medicis, the Borghese, and the Colonna, the Countess Colonna. The Countess Colonna was the lead, and the head of the, as you know, the Milano and the Lombardia. The Borghese was the Vatican, and Medicis was Firenze, really famous, and the richest family because they own the bank. But nobody know them, the three family today, and but everybody remember art. Remember art. Okay, maybe the people in the street, they don't know the name of the art, but they know the art. They recognize the painting, right? They can recognize the painting. Maybe they don't know the painter or the name of the painter, but they recognize, this, and that's really interesting because even the kids, they can buy, like a shirt with a painting. That's really interesting. So I don't think and that's a problem, because all these guys from politics, from the high tech today, they want to be immortal, and they're not immortal. They're not immortal with $1 billion and everything. They're not immortal, but art is immortal. And the problem is like they don't understand that they don't put money with the artists, and to create democracy. Okay, it's great democracy, but democracy, what does it mean? It means that, as Plato say, we create the democracy. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And Plato has been creating and writing to Hannah Arendt. They've been really writing on democracy. Democracy doesn't mean anything if you don't have something to offer with democracy. And I think art is a part of the democracy. I think if you cut the artists who deliver a message, whose message is like to work, to deliver something positive, with love, because love is important. Because nobody talk about love. I'm like, and love, and everybody look at me like, oh yeah, love, true. Are you right? Love. I'm like, but because you go to Vatican, is only love. We talk. You mean sex? No, I'm not saying sex. No, I'm saying love. love. And no, Facebook, no, it's forbidden love. Forbidden love. Okay. I, a two person who's like naked kiss is forbidden. Okay. So the sculpture, the painting, when you have two person naked with kiss from the 16th century is forbidden. No, mate. So you see, I was talking with a university in America. I say, okay, so and it was, you see, like, it's always like, the absurdity. The absurdity is like one day there is a photo of Emma and Melania. So the two photos are considered like, oh my God, it's oh my God, it's oh my God, it's too much, it's too much. But at the same time, the American, they're the biggest consumer of pornography. Okay, the biggest one. Crazy. Okay, so it's like, okay, great, fantastic. Okay, and after, they become like, okay, it's like, okay, the wokeism, so they're passing from one side to another side. It's always extreme, extreme. Can we be a little bit on the middle, please? And can we talk about love? No, never. It's always extreme. But what? And can we listen to people also in the street? What they want? When I start art, and I start with art with Andy, because I love, the street art, to paint on the wall. And there was people would say, oh, we destroyed this wall with your painting to resell it. No, where are we going? Money. Okay, but you want me to repaint on the wall? It's like, for free. Don't worry, it's for free. Don't worry. Me, my only goal and target is to paint, is to take photos and design, and to make you see, a bag, a new bag for you. Because I know, like, girls, they love bags. No matter what, even if they're 20 bag, at home, they will always be happy to have a new bag. So to enjoy, it's like to enjoy, let's enjoy the life, I think,
Alexander, and do you think, can we talk today about some kind of degradation of humanity in the 21st century?
Decline of the heritage of the traditional values, and the decline of humanity. Remember, you just mentioned a lot about the art and the people of the past, of the 16th, 17th century, their glorification of humans, and now we see the opposite story, while human life, human communication, cooperation, coexistence of the humankind is under attack of new neoliberal trends, I would say. Is some sort of revise of the past history of the humankind, and the new read how the humankind should develop.
We forgot about something very, very important.
I think some media, gonna make a lot of they're gonna. I think, okay. I think where the problem is, like, media, and mostly with, like, all these channel, like, need to talk, 24/7. They need to talk. They need to talk, and they need to have, like, something to talk, because before, like in the 90s, they didn't, it was only CNN, for example, in US and everything, and it's pretty rare, But today, they need, to have, like, okay, we need, to talk, about something, I think, it always been like, this kind of trouble or this problem or so and so, I don't think there is a problem today. I think there is too much media, there is too much social network and everything, and there is too much people talking about too much bullshit. to be nice, to be nice, and you have always, I feel like, I'm in a bar, and you have someone coming and say, hey, by the way, I need to tell you something. you know, and you have someone was like even more drunk, it's like, I didn't tell you something. It's like Bukowski, like, you know, I need to tell you something. I mean, you feel like, it's like kind of stupidity a little bit, like, I don't think these people are serious. I think more, they're rich and more they're stupid. More it's like, I don't think, the people who are, in I don't think the rich people today and the people who have power, they don't see that the people who just surviving, who's like the majority of the people in the world today, they don't have the problem of this kind of problem. They're just surviving. I'm gonna pay my bill. I'm gonna pay my apartment. I'm gonna pay my electricity bill. I'm gonna, afford, for my kids. I can get my vacation. That's the problem, And I've been always in contact of the reality because I like, to be in contact with these people in the street. This is the street art. I still like, in contact with the people in the street, everywhere I go in the world. I like to talk with the people in the street and to know. And that's exactly, you see, the Russian writer. That's why, they understood, and you can read into the book, the pain and the suffering of the Russian history, and feel, and you feel, you can smell, even you can smell, you know, and that's the beauty of it, it's the beauty of it, because you can feel it, you can feel it when you can see that something, So I don't believe, that the people like in the street, they are like worried about what's going on TV.
Well, it's clear, Alexander. In the beginning, when you were sharing your experience of shooting during the New York winter, you also mentioned the Red Square, the most famous place in Moscow, the capital of Russia. We are in Russia, and we must ask you the next question. Have you ever been to our country? I think yes, because you already said it. So what was your impressions about the cities maybe you visited, and about Russia in general?
But first, like, people, when people talk about Russia, I'm always impressed because Russia is the largest country in the world. So to talk about Russia as to say, like, I know Russia, I think even Russian people don't even know Russia. I mean, it's completely stupid to say, I know Russia. I mean, Russia is not like Moscow, it's not Vladivostok, it's not Volgograd, it's not Irkutsk, I mean, it's all that. It's not. I mean, Russia is so huge, so huge. I mean, I think one life is not enough, to know this land. I mean, if I say, okay, guys, I mean, I take 2 years, 3 years, and I gotta make, photos and painting and videos all around, I don't have enough time, to make, all the piece and everything, because it's so, yeah, it's so much history. So it's and that's the beauty of this land. It's beauty of this land and this history, and you can feel like, I mean, I remember there is some place, I've been, you could smell there is something happen here, so I think this land, it's yeah, I mean, and I've been like learning a lot, about it, I mean, it's unbelievable as a Russian, Russian. people are, I mean, me, for myself, and I'm talking for myself, the people have always been super nice with me, super nice. Everywhere I've been, no judgment, always welcome. Um, yeah. So what am I gonna say? I'm gonna say that people are not bad. And you cannot criticize people when the people are like, oh, you want to drink, you want to eat, that. So yeah. So I'm always like, yeah. I've been really, really, I've been really, always. Okay, you have place like that. You feel like. Attract, no matter what, by books, of course, the books, attract you, But first, I was not attracted, because it was cold, because because some part of history or so, like, I didn't like it, I mean, there was some part, I didn't like it, from Russia, like, of course, there's a dark side, of Russia that I don't like. I mean, of course, Stalin is not the part of Russia I like. I like Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. Was of course not so good as well, but he was more an intellectual. Even if he was an asshole, of course. But no, but for real, But it, I mean, it was different, But Stalin part was for me terrible for the Russian people, terrible. But it's not a good part for me of Russia, you see. But Nicholas too was terrible too, So But
Probably
Russian people.
Probably Anna de Kiev was the right person 1,000 years ago, the Queen of France. Do you know the story?
And Anne of Kiev, for example, Anne of Kiev, I got, some. You see, for example, I knew, Anne of Kiev. For example, she was. Imagine she has sex, with like some, not soldiers, but like she's like have sex with some. Let's say noble, I don't know, like whatever, from the army. And after, in the morning, she was like, she would make them kill. I mean, you see the crazy people?
So she's not the right person as well.
We didn't know this story.
We didn't know.
But none of these people who have the power on this time was the right people. Platon has been writing a lot. I mean, the people who with the power were like were really, really bad. I mean, you don't want to live in the time of Plato, or so on. I mean, it was they were all criminal.
So history is a big, big question, and we can discuss it during hours. But
no, but that was exactly. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it was exactly what I was talking with Fidel.
And what side Fidel Castro has chosen during your conversation?
We were arguing, side by side about history and everything, because he was an intellectual. I don't know if you know that, but he was he knew history. Okay.
Of course, he was very intellectually powerful, one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. Yeah. Definitely, there is no doubt about it. It doesn't matter. Do you support him or not? You cannot ignore the facts.
Yeah, he was an intellectual before anything. He was a super intellectual. In fact, he'd been totally destroying by all that. But he was a super intellectual, and he knew. He learned like so much and everything. He was totally destroyed. But he was very funny. After 3 cigars and I don't know 20 Cuba Libre, I can tell you, he was like We were laughing like, imagine the arguing like, no, you're wrong.
We believe it was very hot discussion. So, Alexander, what do you think? Is it possible to communicate on people-to-people level in normal way? Now, in
Current circumstances.
yes.
Me, I will be always the same. I will be always the same because I estimate that, and maybe this is what they're expecting from me as an artist, to be like that, to be frankly honest, and to say what the people can't say, or don't have the strength, to say, maybe, I don't know, but they know that with me it will be straight to the point, because I have nothing to lose. Why I'm gonna lose, something? I always say to the people, I say to the people, like, I'm laughing, okay, you talk about the wall of Berlin, but I was there. Stop, to talk about something that you want. You don't even know, So I was there, and that's making the difference, So and that's I've been running and traveling a lot, in my life. I've been more than 187 countries in the world, and I've been maybe traveling a lot, and too much, People stole from me, stole my paintings, stole my photos, so stole a lot of things. But I'm a free man, and free man I am. And no one can steal my freedom, for real, And that's something, really important for me, And it's what I'm trying to teach, to my son, that he's free, and no one can control him, And that's, it's something like, I want to, express, to the people, like, around the world, And no one can judge, It's like, we're in judgment, like, it sounds like, they all come and say, oh, you know what, I'm the leader, it was like, something like, I was talking with Fidel. I'm the leader you were waiting for. No, you're not.
And who is the leader we're waiting for?
No, it's like, it sounds like, these people, think they are Jesus, First, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't care, about Jesus, and they're all, I think, they're Jesus, No, you're not Jesus. I don't like war. I don't like weapon. I don't like this kind of thing, I'm tired about war and things and people and fighting, and I want just, people like, try to find way to understand each other. There is always way to understand each other. First, history is to understand each other. I've been learned. I got chance to my family to understand. To learn a lot. That's, and thanks my family and my two grandparents and everything to teach me a lot and everything. But I learned. And today, yeah, I can come and say, okay, this was like that, this was but I feel that the people, they don't even know that the treaty of, the Treaty of Westphalia of 1648, and it was so many treaty that people forget about it. It was like so many treaty and everything. And there is painting, by the way, of all these treaty. So I think, like, people forget about it. Forget about, the truth.
You see, the adherence to the truth is a very complicated issue, and many believe and many think that if you live in the past, you you will definitely miss the future. So there should be some sort of balance. But I agree with you that we need also to focus on study our past, because this is the place where our roots arise, and if we forget who we are, then we lose our direction. Basically, this is what we see now when the world is changing and we are trying to find a new place in a new world. But maybe it's much better just to not lose yourself and to live evolutionally, from ancestors from the past to the future. And from this perspective, maybe we should ask you the final question for today. Of course, you said that you are not a politician, and we are not going to ask you the following question from the political point of view, but in any case, there are a lot of talks currently, and in Europe, I'm sure 100% as well. The concept of MAGA, Make America Great Again, and the new iteration of this concept, MAGA, Make Europe Great Again. Do you believe in the great future of Europe or not?
I don't know. It's a really difficult question. Honestly,
there are no easy questions with us, but we expect a fair answer and maybe some brainstorm.
No, it's really, but it's really tough question. For real, I think I will think. I was, to be honest with you, and for real, I had, a lot of hope after the following of Berlin in '89 that West and East will consider one land and not two lands, because for me, I grew up with this split between two lands, and it was terrible for me, terrible, It was I suffer, I suffer, to don't see one part of my family. I suffer, to this, to this separation, to this wall, and of course, as you know, unfortunately, West, didn't made anything after the following of Berlin, to bring East together with the West, So I think the biggest mistake, from the West, the West Europe, is the consequences, of the new Europe will have to be made normally, and to build, this new Europe, and challenging, the world and everything. So it can be done. It can be done. But when? 89, 90 will be incredible, and it never be done. And we're in 2025. It's completely stupid. It's idiot. The people are completely idiot. When imagine to have Europe unified today would be incredible. What as you say, in New York, what the what's going on there? These people, Europe, East and West together, it would be the largest, place in the world. What the fuck is going on with these people? So I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't get it. So I think this is my real answer. They lost it, from 1990, to now. It's it's more than it's more than a generation. It's crazy. What's going on? It's so weird, right?
But there should be a light at the end of the tunnel, right?
I always have a light, in myself, so I want to believe, there is a light in the tunnel, and there is someone gonna say okay, guys, okay, let's go, let's go. It's impossible because no one is stronger than, East and West is stronger than the US and China. No question about it, or to India, or to Africa. And Africa is going to be the strongest one, no matter what, in 2050. In 2050, Africa is gonna booming. It's gonna be booming. You know, I mean, I know Africa pretty well. So Europe, you know, is together. I mean, it's clear, and I'm sure you know you agree. You know, I mean, it's clear. Europe together is huge, huge. So I don't understand. I really don't understand.
So, Alexander, thank you very much for this very interesting conversation. We hope to see you again sometimes in our studio.
Please.
It was very interesting discussion indeed, Alexander. So unexpected sometimes point of view, but very interesting. Hope to see you again, and many thanks.
Thank you to you, you know, guys. You know, I mean, you know, it was really, really nice from you, like, you know, to welcome me. You know, like, I hope I have been like not too much crazy.
In any case,
But
it was interesting and fun.
Thank
I
you.
make you laugh, so it's good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you
Thanks.
so much. You know, have a beautiful day. You know, and enjoy. You know, with everyone. Please take care.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks now.